Hello everyone and welcome back to Straight White Whale. My name is Darren Connell and this is episode 25. I cannot fucking believe it. That's incredible, isn't it, Paul?
Ridiculous, mate.
25 episodes of a podcast. That is amazing. Before we get into the nonsense, we've got a sponsor and I want to give them a shout out. I've wrote it down as well because I'm trying to be as professional as possible. I can't keep saying I'm going to suck people's bangers. You know what I mean? I know it's like I appreciate them sponsoring the podcast, and the only way I can communicate my emotions is through saying I want to suck their banger. But it's going to come back and haunt us. I do want to suck their banger though. So This podcast is sponsored by Argue & Co. Argue & Co is a legal firm based in Glasgow, and I've wrote some bullet points down here. They specialise in everything, right? But see, their main thing is they do most types of law, and their main area is personal injury and employment law. So if you've ever had any trouble with anything like that, get in touch with them. Now, I don't get any dafty to just sponsor the podcast. I know a lot of people just want money and they just get any sponsor. I know Alan. I went to school with Alan. I know that he's a good person. The difference between his company and everybody else's company is he won't take a fee. What is it called? No win,
no fee, is it?
No win, no fee, which is very fucking rare during these times, these tough times when people would just take a fee off you. And another thing, see if you win, he won't take a cut off you either. So most of these law firms will take like 20%. He won't take as much as that. He'll take a flat out free, I would imagine. But
right.
He won't take a big massive chunk.
He'll make the other side fucking pay.
So so there you go. And like I said last week, if you need any help regarding that situation or stuff like that anyway, just get in touch with the guy. He'll point you in the right direction if they can't help you, and if they can, they will. And that's that.
Well done, mate.
Was that all right?
Professional as fuck. Loved it. No even joking, mate. Don't look at me like that.
I can't see you. I've not got my glasses on.
Just a wee smudge.
I feel that was a bit sweaty there for me, man. I was like panicking.
Would you?
Aye. Just fighting the urge to say, and I'll suck his banger on the desk. G-Ross, you've got my hair transplant hanging off my skull. Don't get a fuck.
You ever had a personal injury claim?
I should have. There's been many times in my life when shit's happened and I've just been like, fuck it.
Such as?
Just put a plaster on it. I remember driving back from a gig with a comedian and some fucking idiot ran into the back of us.
Did you not put a claim in for that? Oh, mate, that's Claim Central.
I know.
They just pay out, I think. I don't even think they fucking... You just need to walk about with the neck brace on. Pure hamming it up.
I hear voices and that. That's... don't get me wrong, if it happens now, I'd fucking hit the deck, man. I would never get up. I'd be walking with 2 walking sticks. Everything, man.
Alan would be guiding you. He'd be like, telling you, right, go to the doctor. Be like, oh...
I'd be doing this fucking podcast through a breathing apparatus, like Bane. Have you ever put in a claim?
Aye, mate.
Aye,
just for road injuries.
Aye,
like you're saying, whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
They just get. It's free money. Like that's the way that. It's obviously no, because then everybody ends up paying for it through their fucking insurance premiums. But I mean, where there's blame, there's a claim.
Well, I was young and I was silly. And you know that way, I wasn't self-employed yet. I still worked in Asda. I was quite a nervous wee guy. And I thought, I don't want to annoy anybody. I never really knew the process of that, how you do that. But now, I'd be fucking bleeding.
Did they ask you?
No.
See, that's the difference now, mate. See, now, if you're in a car crash and you put in your insurance claim within like a day, a law firm are phoning you, like, do you want us to handle your personal injury claim? And so it's all like,
yeah,
it all just happens. Like, I've been in but I've been in 4 or 5 car crashes that obviously, like, I've not had anything.
Wow.
And then I've had one where they phoned and they were like, oh, you can get a claim. You want to put in a personal, like, fucking right, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Get £1,400. Get me £1,400. Go for it.
Aye, Glasgow's quite a strange mentality towards that shit.
In what way?
Well, I'd imagine it's everywhere else in the world, but I used to be a labourer, and I remember being on site and an old boy, I think he lost a thumb. I'm sure he lost a thumb.
Right.
And he was literally like, yes, you fucking dancer, man. I'll get about $5,000 for that. I was like, mate, you've not got a thumb. Who the fuck needs a thumb?
Well, that's what you gotta do when you need to fucking finger your ass, man. You can get your thumb up your ass. Aye, mate, fucking right, man.
I'm like that in life now. You know how, like, oh, I'll go to uni, I'll stick in, I'll try my best. And now I'm just like, I really hope I just get scudded with a fucking bus or I get really bad food poisoning for a restaurant that's not going to kill me and I can just get, you know, $20,000 or something.
You can just sue them.
Because life has crushed my fucking soul. Anyway, Paul, it's nice to see you, mate. I mean,
is it? Somebody came in to do a podcast and they were like, "Are you Paul for Darren Connell's podcast?" And I was like, "Aye." And they were like, "I recognise your voice,"
oh, brilliant.
which was strange.
Who was it?
Mikey Motion.
Oh, no way, aye, Mikey.
Aye.
Mikey is a stand-up comedian, very funny. And a couple of years ago, he had a viral Vine. When he
Bergie Boy.
Bergie Boy, when he had the numerous Bergos jackets on, and he says, "I'm absolutely bloody roasting him." He's a good guy.
Aye, mate. And he was funny on the podcast,
Yeah.
but he was telling me how good a stand-up you are. He was saying
Thank
that you headlined his room down at the old Fury Murray's, did you?
Yes.
Saying he was loving your Betty White joke.
I've got the hunger back, mate.
Have you?
Yes. I'm loving it. I'm loving it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really shit McDonald's advert, that. I'm loving it, McFlurries. Can't even get the sentence out of my mouth. I'm dying. No,
Get the fire back for the stand-up, mate.
yes, we are announcing it on Friday. Tickets go on sale on Friday for the tour. I've done everything that I need to do, so I've left everything else with the bookers and stuff. So they said it's going to get announced on Friday, but we'll get to that in a minute. How have you been anyway?
I've been good, mate. I've been good.
You been good?
What's been happening? When were we last done?
It was last week, I think, when
Aye,
you
it
just
was.
get back from Amsterdam.
Aye. Not a lot's actually happened. Had a good weekend, mate. Sun was shining, was going out for walks, was loving life.
Yeah.
Been busy with doing this, I suppose. But nah, nothing's really like jumped to mind other than Celtic winning against Ross County on Sunday, which made me happy.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do the business on Sunday again and make me even more happy.
Sunday.
Maybe even get a wee stoner
Oh, aye.
if we win on Sunday. Just turning off half of Glasgow there, they just went click.
As I'm trying to remain neutral, like, yeah, stoner, yeah. That's on Sunday when I move into my flat, so that'll be hopefully.
You're looking forward to that, mate?
Yes. A good day, mate. Moving into the flat. Celtic are playing Rangers. Aye.
Things are going to go well Sunday. It's not going to be like the Money Pit, is it? So Rangers win. You ever seen the Money Pit?
No.
Just had a blank look. Are you shitting me? There's a movie that I've seen that you've not seen with Tom Hanks.
Money Pit.
Might be a bit dated now, but it's it's a good movie, mate. They basically
watch it.
they buy a big house.
Mm-hmm.
They're buying a big house and they turn up, they see it, not ruining it. They turn up, they see it, it's a beautiful big house, and then when they go to move their stuff in, like the people that have sold them the house have took all the doors and all the windows out, removed all the plumbing.
So basically on Sunday, Rangers are going to beat Celtic 6-0 and I'm going to have a heart attack in the bath.
You're going to turn up to your flat and there's going to be a fucking crack den or something.
Aye, smeared in shit all over the wall. Aye, I'm buzzing for it. I've had a good week as well, mate.
Aye, how you been, mate? Sorry, I didn't ask there.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
How about
This is it's the interviewing technique of leading into other parts of the podcast. 25th episode.
getting pro at this now, mate?
Aye. As I'm sitting with shorts on for fucking TK Maxx.
Nothing wrong with a bit of TK Maxx, mate. I exclusively shop in TK Maxx. See if I need something, I go and look in TK Maxx, and if it's not there, I'll go and buy it for a legitimate like fucking shop. But no, if I need a winter jacket, I'm going to TK Maxx to buy a fucking winter jacket, man.
Well, I'm wearing this. I'm wearing this gear is because I'm walking home for the podcast. It's not because I'm a lazy bastard.
How did that go last week? I think we mentioned on the pod that you were going to walk home.
Oh mate, I was fucked. I was absolutely fucked. Like, my mate texts us at night and he's like, mate, I drove past you in Springburn Road. You look like you were going through a weird trip. I was fucked. It was roasting last week, wasn't it? I was totally roasting. I was just, because it's so weird, man, when your fitness goes, because at the start of lockdown, I was doing 20k walks and fucking hell, man, from here to Springburn, it's not that far. And halfway there, I'm like leaning up against walls and all that, thinking, what the fuck has happened to my life? But I feel better. I know when I move into the flat, things will get better. I'm doing a lot of things, mate, like stress eating and being around mad family members that are just after fucking nut. Do you know what I mean?
Neighbours that are going, what's happened to you? Every time you leave the fucking house, you're like, fucking nothing's happened to me, you prick.
My dad, we've noticed you've been drinking more cups of tea in the house. We've always known that you've been the weirdo of the family, but recently it's got a lot worse. Are you alright? Because I'll drive you up to Stokehill right now. Like, I had 2 cups of tea. Right, okay. If you need medication for your brain to alter, it's alright. We'll help you out. I'm just trying to talk to you. It's a dying, don't worry about it.
Is that the way your dad talks?
No, nothing like my dad.
Is your dad pure, Darren, are you alright, mate?
Aye. It's just my mentally ill mind.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Aye, so there's a lot of comfort eating, stress eating. Right. See, because you're sharing a fridge with people and stuff, I do that. I'm not buying food, I'll just get a takeaway and all that shit. So I'm looking forward to having my own space, and it's going to be weird, man, but I can't wait.
Aye, mate. The first week when you move into a new flat, it is all a bit weird, isn't it? Like, the place doesn't, like, new smells, and you're lying trying to get to sleep at night and you're like, what's that noise?
Aye. It's like, I'm having stealth wanks, mate. I'm 34 years old.
What's a stealth wank?
Like, keeping the edgy while having a wank. So my dad doesn't walk in the fucking room.
You look like fucking Gollum, like hunched there, like jacking it like that.
Precious. I get nominated for a BAFTA, man. What the fuck is happening here?
Did you actually?
Well,
a Scottish BAFTA?
A Scottish BAFTA.
I'm kidding on me. But did you?
Yes. New talent award.
Ah, brilliant, mate.
For up and coming.
Who won it the year that you get nominated?
A drug dealer.
Who?
I can't remember his name right, but there was this. It was me. It was so long ago. It was me, a child, and a guy from, I'm sure he was from Nigeria, but he was Scottish. And he won it.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later, the Daily Record exposed him as a crack cocaine dealer, and he was earning up to like $7,000 a week.
Did the Scottish BAFTA strip him and give you the title?
Nah,
pricks.
Nope. But I remember I wasn't that devastated, but I felt sorry for the kid. The kid was heartbroken, man.
Oh.
And I remember getting him a cuddle and just thinking, pal, all this stuff doesn't mean anything. You just keep working, keep your head down, and enjoy this night.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was a drug dealer in? What did he do?
I can't remember what he was in, but the part of winning the BAFTA was you get a small part in a... God, I'm having brain fog. What's the amazing Scottish actor that does all the mad... he'll play a mad... Peter Mullen.
Peter, right, was he directing, producing something?
He was directing a film and you get a wee bit part in it.
Right.
And see, when I found that out, I was fucking gutted, man, until I watched the film, right? The film was amazing, right?
Right, okay.
But see the fucking part. Holy fuck. It was literally at the end of the film when Peter Mullen is hitchhiking back to Glasgow.
Right.
And the guy from Nigeria drives up in a car and does that. Hop in, mate. That's it.
They've still been good, though.
I know. I'm just trying to make myself feel better.
Being in the same with Peter Mullen, and see, to be honest, mate, you've got that charisma. He would have get you a better part. You'd have got on set and he'd have been like, "This guy's a star. Let's get him a lead role." He knew that Nigerian dude was a fucking scumbag selling crack to Waynes. Hopefully they didn't sell it to the wee boy that was in contention for the fucking BAFTA.
It's mad to think that wee guy will probably be like 22 now or something.
Was it that long ago, mate?
I think I was 24, mate, so it must have been 10 years ago.
Right.
Aye.
That's
That wee guy's
mental.
probably smoking fags and all that. I bet you he's not having stealth wanks. Fucking dick. Fucking both of them.
Pair of pricks.
No, but I had a good week last week. There's lots of major kind of bullet points I've set out in my life. Like recently was to, fall in love with stand up again, to get a flat. Well, it was to get a mortgage, but I never got that. But I've got a flat sorted. So I've sorted all this out within the first 3 months of the year, essentially.
Aye.
And it's quite a weird feeling. Like, I don't know if anybody else is like that, but when I set a goal, I normally don't achieve it.
Right, aye.
It's a weird feeling actually achieving it.
Right.
Like I feel good of like, right, I need a living space, so I'll sort that out instead of just living in fucking misery. And one of my main things was to start back gigging in Edinburgh because it seems to be a bogey city for me.
Right, really?
I've just built it up in my head as this. I don't like to gig there, and
Right. Why is that?
well, I was back at the stand last week, and I've not gigged in the stand in Edinburgh in probably 5 years. And last week I did 4 gigs in the venue.
Right.
Wednesday and Thursday was for Kevin Bridges and friends. So talk about fucking pressure being on, mate. I've never experienced nerves like that before in my life.
Was he there?
Yep. He was all right, okay.
Was he like sort of what you're going to do in Glasgow? Was he like the host, like comparing the show?
Well, he's got a tour coming up and he needs new material. So
Right.
he compares it and he'll do like, 20 minutes at the top, 30 minutes in the second section, and then he'll just get comedians to do spots.
Right.
So I was doing a spot Wednesday, Thursday, and then I was back at the stand on Friday and Saturday for the regular weekend.
Right.
And it was amazing, mate. I definitely built it up.
4 nights, man, back to back.
Aye, 4 nights.
You feel good at that Saturday night, like in the zone and all that, like.
It is like, you do something so much. By the time you get, it's like the end of a fringe run, you're shit hot at the end of it.
You can start fucking about with it and
Aye,
all that, and
you
playing
wing
about with it.
So Saturday I was like that. Saturday I was completely relaxed and chilled out. Plus I've also realised through maturity as well, like I'm blinded by nerves most of the time or people pleasing. So I don't realise that, if I'm not even really talking about the stand, right? But see before COVID, you'll get like a comedy club or a venue, and anytime you go, no matter where you're gigging, when you're gigging, there'll always be like a group of comedians that are fucking living in the venue that are no gigging there. Probably a wee bit bitter, jealous that they're not getting as many gigs, and that's kind of what happened with me. So I used to kind of get worried about like who's going to be hanging about rather than the actual venue.
Right.
And plus a compare makes a difference. I know, mate. You get compares that just sometimes don't give a fuck. They're bitter. They've been doing it for too long, and they go up and they don't really care. So they make the night icy and just horrible.
Hostile environment.
Yep.
Right.
And, I went up one night and I've done it so many times now that I've realised, oh, wait a minute, that's not me. That's the compare. Or it's people in the green room that make the green room fucking horrible. So it was a good feeling to actually accept this is not my fault. Whether back in the day, if I died in my arse, it used to make me physically sick. Like, I really, really had to work through that. Like, I used to take it so personal if I never had a good gig. And I suppose it made me better. It did make me a good comedian, but it's not healthy. Like, sometimes you have a bad gig. It's shit happens.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
It's gonna happen.
It happens. But I'd be fucked for a week, or like I wouldn't want to leave my bed the next day. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, it's too much.
I wouldn't eat and stuff. So
Putting too much pressure on yourself. Like
Aye.
you're saying, that's the thing that motivates you to get better. So you kind of need it. But at the same time, when it doesn't go your way, if that mechanism of motivation is causing you to not get out of your bed and feel like a piece of shit for a week, then it's went too far.
Yeah.
You need to rein it in.
So I realise that anytime I go to these venues that are negative in my head, I would say, honestly, probably 95% of the time, it's because they've got a cunt for a compere that doesn't want to be there. So when I went there on Friday and Saturday, there's a woman. She's a comedian called Jay Lafferty. I wouldn't even really say we're pals, but it's like a mutual... we have a mutual respect for each other. Anytime we're gigging, it's like, how you doing? Everything's always nice. And see the difference of having her there, comparing on a Friday and a Saturday to anybody else that I've had. It was unbelievable, mate. Like, it just, the penny dropped and thought, I just done that. It's the compere or who you're gigging with. Like, it doesn't even have to be the compere. It's just, if there's a rotten apple in the lineup, man, it can fuck the night.
Aye.
Obviously, the crowd don't know that. Well, I suppose they do, because if somebody comes out and they don't give a fuck, the crowd can pick up on that. But
100%, mate. I mean, I spoke to a comedian a few weeks ago, and I'll no name names, and he was saying that as a run was coming to the end, that he was like, I'm actually thinking about just packing it in. I was like, just what's making you say that? And he was saying, I just don't want to go back to the circuit, mate.
Wow.
He's like, I can't deal with the negativity that's just in the green rooms, man. He's like, honestly, he's like, you've got no idea what it's like, mate. He's like, depending on who's in the green room, you could come out feeling like you've been bullied. Sometimes like walking on stage feeling shite, like because of the conversations that are happening. It's kind of like understandable, and it's exactly what you're talking about, but also I think the difference with what you're saying and what he's saying, I was just kind of like to him, listen, mate, like, don't let other people dictate what you do with yourself. Like, go back to the circuit. Like, fuck them. They're pricks. Just ignore them. Just try and fucking ignore them. If they try and talk to you to bring you down to their level, just realise that that's them just doing that. Just try to bring you down so you don't have a good night, so that they can feel good about their shite comedy. Like, fuck them, man. They'll never get anywhere with an attitude like that, man. They think they will. They think that's the way to get forward, is by pulling people backwards, when the opposite's true. You should raise people up. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like Kevin Bridges is doing with his night. He's got a new material night. He could just book the stand and just go up and do an hour. Yeah. And people would turn up for that. Do that at Glee or whatever. But he's bringing people in, a bit of exposure to a good crowd while he gets his new material done and stuff like that. So that's definitely the way to go about it. And the story that I've heard you tell about what he did, telling you, give up your job and do that. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. You should do it. That's him encouraging people. He's not sitting about fucking bringing people down before they go on stage. No. Do you know what I mean? And that's what the good cunts will do. You know what I mean?
And that's the difference. It's like you walk into a green room and you can feel ice. You can actually feel ice. And then you're standing at the stage door. You're watching the compere do this. And then you start to get paranoid. You're like, if I go up in a dying marsh, I don't get booked for fucking 3 years, 4 years. But this cunt's here every fucking 2 weeks. And he's up there getting it, like, doesn't give a fuck. And then it's like, welcome to the stage, Darren Connell. You walk out and you just know that you're walking to die. Now, I never died in marsh, but I didn't do good either. I done enough. It was like being in the water and just keeping your head
treading water, mate.
Like, that's what it felt like. And then I got off stage and it was like, how do you feel like that went? And I felt like saying, I fucking died of marsh, I can't. Like, you'd never made it easy. But
who's a good compels?
Liam Withnail.
Right.
Liam Withnail is incredible. He's a good guy and he's also sober. And he's English and he lives in Edinburgh, right? He's always been a funny comedian, always been funny. Right. But there's a comedy club in Edinburgh that's opened, and it's called Monkey Barrel.
Aye.
And he does about, I think he's got 2 nights there. So he's gigging, maybe he's comparing there like 4 times a week, right? For 3 years. And then COVID happened and I never seen him. And then after the bells, I was gigging with him at the Glee in Glasgow. And I thought, holy fuck, this guy has just skyrocketed.
Right.
Like, he's went from good to, if I was running a night, I would get him at all times. Like, he would be my number 1 pick.
Right.
Incredible. He's also got TikTok if you want to check him out. Quite a lot of his stuff on TikTok goes viral. So he's amazing.
Liam Withnail.
Liam Withnail, he's got Twitter and all that stuff. He's a good guy. Glasgow wise, Raymond Mearns is really good. Raymond Mearns has been going for about 20 years.
Always hear his name get mentioned.
Aye, he's good. Professional wise, Des Clark is good. Susie McCabe, brilliant. Joe Heron as well. Joe Heron's incredible. He's got good Twitter. He does really well on Twitter.
Comparing's a bit of an art, isn't it? It's like different because you get people that are fucking. I've heard about people saying, "Oh, they're an amazing compere, but their sets aren't great," and vice versa. Like, people can be a great stand-up comic, they're their set, but when it comes to the comparing, they're not quite. They don't really know what to do with
like
it.
Some people don't suit it. Like, I don't want to piss on comedians, right? I've never actually seen them compare, but I can't imagine Gary Little being a compare.
Right.
But he's a solid headliner.
I've got a weird thing with Gary Little because obviously I know he's a good stand-up comedian, but I only know him for the gym.
Oh, really?
I went to Cali Gym, like Cali Uni. I went to that gym for like 2 or 3 years, maybe 10 years ago, maybe even more than that now, mate. Fuck me, man, it's been that long. But I used to Gary was there every day, fucking 7 in the morning. It was like, that's when they opened. And I would be working, and so I would go at 7. He'd be there at 7. So we were like gym buddies. So that's how I know him. Amazing. And then obviously because I had like people loosely connected family wise that was a comedian, found out it was a comedian, spoke about that, but a common ground, and I got to know him a wee bit, man. He's actually like, I don't know what he's like as a comedian, absolutely no idea, but he's a great guy, man.
Aye.
And he's some laugh as
good
well,
guy,
just in
laugh.
general.
Aye. But I feel like I'm kind of, tiptoeing around the fact that I don't want to slag clubs or nights. I'm no slagging clubs or nights. I'm just saying there's certain people that have kind of lost their spark, and it can make the night pretty shit. But I'm at a stage in my life now that I've been doing it for so long. I'm also 34 years old. I'm not a wee guy anymore. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. Like, if a comedian doesn't like me, I don't care. Like, it's the promoter that I care about. Like, if they're gigging, if they're booking me, then that's all that matters. So I'm at a stage now that if I look at a lineup and I see one of these cunts on the lineup, I'm just going to say, move me to another night.
People change as well. You don't know what you're walking into just because you've been in a green room with somebody that's made an icy atmosphere at one point. Might have been having a fucking tough time in their life. You get them the next time. But comedy seems to really reflect what I've seen with music quite a lot, where there's quite a lot of intimidation and a lot of shithousery that goes on between people. You think they're all like mates because they're getting photos taken with each other and stuff like that, but there's definitely a good amount of backstabbing that goes on for sure.
Aye. I mean, I've seen comedians that are either in the venue or maybe doing a shift behind the bar. Like, once I went up and I struggled, right? That compare that I was talking about was comparing the night. The comedians that don't like me were in the venue, and there was a comedian working behind the bar that didn't like me. So it was like being bullied, but not, I mean, they're trying to bully you, but it's not like, I just essentially nod and smile at them. Like, if they crossed the line, they would get fucking knocked out.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
You could tell
so I just kind of palm them off. But that night when I walked in, I was just like so nervous. I was like, God, I need to deal with these cunts. And then the compere doesn't give a fuck. And it was like, I wasn't that, I mean, I was funny, right? But I wasn't professional enough to deal with it. So I think I had 15 minutes. I only done something like 7 minutes, mate. And I got off stage and I literally seen this guy that works behind the bar running upstairs to give me bad feedback. And this guy was a comedian as well. And I was like, mate, and I could kind of see myself trying to explain myself to this guy. And I was like, why am I even talking to this cunt?
Aye, mate.
He's a fucking nobody.
I remember, like, the boy that played lead guitar in one of my bands talking about, like, a similar sort of thing. It was like another band came to see us playing. He was like, blah, blah, blah. The guy said to him, I found it all quite underwhelming. And he started being a bit like, fucking, and I was like, wait a minute. That guy's band's shite.
Yeah.
Why are you listening to him?
Aye.
Like, I mean, do you respect their art form? See, if the answer's aye, then maybe you're like, I really respect them as a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to listen to what they've got to say. See if you don't. See if they're not a good comedian. See if they're... No offence to the guy, we're on the journey and blah, blah, blah. He's behind the fucking bar. He's not even on the bill. If he was like, but I'd be like, no offence, mate, but not listening to your advice. Or just be like, aye, very good, and fucking ignore him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody that runs up to somebody to criticise them is just a prick on face value. Do you know what I mean? But it comes back to what I was just saying there. Do you respect them at what they're doing? Then maybe you want to listen. See if you don't. See if they're not doing, if they're not making moves, if their stand-up's no fucking tearing the roof off a venue. Don't listen to them because they'll probably be coming for a place of jealousy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's why it was nice to do that last week, because I walked through and it's all new staff members and the comedians, there was no comedians there, the negative ones anyway. And, you know, it was such a nice, friendly environment. But I got a monkey off my back with that big time. And it's true what you say, man. It's like all these kind of weird comedians that are so toxic. And see if you were choking on your sick in the green room, mate, they would fucking walk in and walk out. Like, I've seen cunts that, you know, they think you're daft. Like, see, when I first started, I remember there was a compere that used to spread lies about me, telling everybody that I was an alcoholic. This was actually before I had a drink problem, mate. He was like, don't book him, he's an alcoholic, he drinks too much. I remember sitting in the green room of the stand and he walked in and he done that, wrong turn and turned round. And now, because I've got Scott Squad and all that type of shit, he's all kind of pally. But you're like, I never forget. Anyway, I don't want to bitch comedians all the time, but that's what I'm saying. Kevin Bridges, like, obviously he's like a superstar. I'm gigging with him last week. He's the most chilled out, happiest cunt I've ever met in my life. He's got funny bones. He's so supportive. Like, I didn't need to, like you said, I don't need that gig. He didn't need to give me that gig. And I went up and I had one of the best gigs of my life. That's the difference between Kevin Bridges and the rest of them. So, but then that's quite common, isn't it? It's like with people that are so talented.
With successful people, mate. They're not threatened by anybody else's talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe Kevin Bridges might give Mickey Flanagan or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Or another hugely successful comedian. I don't think so, but it's always... You do get successful people that shit on, you know, like you do get ones that slip through the cracks and they make it, but see, the majority of the time, people that are always in that sort of like wanting to give negative feedback or whatever, they never really do anything, and it's always really coming for that place of feeling insecure about themselves.
Yeah.
So they maybe pick on other people. You know what I mean? You might have a bad night, like you said, that happens, but it's the ones that are waiting in the queue to stick it into you because when you have a better night as you do, or you're a good comedian, that's why they're doing that. You know, it's just knowing, maybe I did have a bad night, that's why they're taking their opportunity, but the reason that they're waiting in that queue is because I'm actually fucking good.
Yeah. I've also seen it with the term, say, be careful who you kick on the way up because you'll go past them on the way down. Is that the term?
I don't know, but I know what you're saying.
Aye, it's like kind of a 3-year-old trying to explain that term there, but you know what I mean. I've seen it with a comedian that, you know, reached the top very quickly, and you know, he would steal off his granny to get to the top, piss on everybody, like do anything for success, and he done it and he got to the top. Then there was a scandal and then everyone was like, fuck you.
Aye,
like,
they're all waiting with their knives.
Aye, because he was a cunt. Even though the scandal was bad and they did do wrong, there was no in between. There was no maybe he made a mistake or something like that. Everybody was like, fuck him, he deserves it. So that's why I just like to treat people the way I get treated. Try to be funny. I always just break it down to people are there for a good night and I'm grateful to get paid to try and make them laugh. Why do people overthink these situations? Maybe I'm humble because I was a trolley boy in Asda for fucking 9 years, mate. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, mate. 100%. They forget themselves, mate. Like they really do. And I think especially when it comes easy and they don't have to battle, you know what I mean? So they don't see people, they're not looking at everybody else realising that everybody's fighting the same fucking fight and just try to get somewhere with what they're trying to do. Just seems crazy to me that the comedians don't support other comedians, you know what I mean? Like they don't lean on each other, they don't work with each other, collaborate with each other. If you go back to like, you know, like times when creativity's been like proper thriving, like the 60s, they all fucking hung about with each other and they all like taught each, we've done this, we met this guy, he did this for us, and they spread it about, and all of them are fucking legends, do you know what I mean? But you get people that just can't, it's threatening to people. I think other people's success is super threatening. So they don't want to help you get somewhere because they think that's going to detract for them, when actually the opposite's true, mate. It's always true. Like, if you help people, they'll help you back. That, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And it's weird because, like, you know, I started before a lot of people. I started before Susie McCabe. I started before, in fact, Susie McCabe. I remember Susie when she started. Like, she deserves everything that's happening to her right now. She's on the cusp of greatness. She's one of the funniest comedians in Scotland, and she's got the potential to be, I know it's so cliched, but see when, you know, somebody comes through, it's like the next Kevin Bridges or the next Frankie Boyle. The path is there for her, for that to happen. And she's earned it through blood, sweat and tears. Now, I know if I was mentally ill or jealous, I'd be like, I started before Susie. How come I'm not the next Frankie Boyle? I never think like that because I know that when I gig, I do well and it's good fun. I just would never enter my mind to be like that as a person. But then these cunts don't have a shelf life, do they? They never last.
Nah, they don't.
So, but aye, it was an amazing week of gigs. Jay Lafferty, I was on with Rachel Jackson, a very funny comedian as well. A shit hot comedian. I'm just writing this down because I'm dyslexic. Chris Washington. Washington. Aye, he's very good. Right. English comedian, funny as fuck. So if you are looking for, if you love Scottish comedy in general, get these people followed on Twitter, and I'm sure they're doing podcasts and shit like that.
If they're not, they fucking better get in here. If they're not doing podcasts, like, they fucking better get in here. Hurry up.
Just going through the notes there. I hope I didn't feel like I was ranting.
No, that was good, mate.
Was that all right?
Aye, mate.
Aye, but it was good. It was very, very good, man. I've missed that buzz, and it's like a drug, man. See, just doing that 2 years of lockdown and they gigging and accepting it as well. Probably stand-up's over, the circuit's over. See, to be in a comedy club and nobody's wearing masks, and you're like, fucking hell, man. Like, you've missed that stimulus, that feeling of nervousness, even grabbing the compere before, and I'm like, this will never leave you. It doesn't matter if it's 50 people, it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 people. That buzz is so fucking good, man.
Aye. Was it a good crowd?
No, it was shite. No, no, it was good, mate. It was good. It was really good. Like I said before, I don't know why I had Edinburgh as, and maybe I associate it with the fringe, and that's why it's so negative to me. Because I could go up to Aberdeenshire, Dundee, and do all right, but when I walk into Edinburgh, I feel like I've lost instantly. But the crowds were fucking amazing, man. It just boils down to people having a long day at work and they want to be entertained, and they're very, very grateful for it. And I felt amazing after it, man.
Good.
It was good.
Good to hear, mate.
Another thing, I just completely made that up. I wasn't even gigging last week.
You were sitting with your dad drinking tea.
Kevin Bridges is fucking not even in Scotland, mate.
Your dad was like, "Damn, you alright?" And you were sitting there like fantasising about your reset at the stand, like,
How come they've blacklisted me, Dad? Because you're having stealth wanks, you're 34, get out of the house, you cunt. Do you know they've started calling me Timothy? Have you ever heard of a show called Sorry?
no.
Ronnie Corbett, right? I don't even know why you would know this because it was back in the 60s,
Right.
but it was about 60s, 70s.
I know who Ronnie Corbett is.
But when he was in this show,
Right.
he was 40 years old, and it was about a guy that still lived with his man and his dad, and his name was Timothy.
Right,
So he used to go out for pints with his mates and stuff,
right.
and
And your dad's calling you Timothy?
aye, basically he's
So
calling
your-
me Timothy.
So your dad's bullying you as well?
Aye. So anytime he would get cheeky or fill a couple of pints and say something, it'd be like, language, Timothy. And he's like, but I'm 40. I got an Uber here.
Oh, did you?
Fancy.
That is fancy.
Do you know I've realised I like to randomly talk shite to Uber drivers?
Do you?
Aye. I make up shit.
It's like a fucking sport.
Aye.
You make stuff up?
Yep.
Right. What did you tell him? Or what's your best?
So randomly, I was kind of pretending that I was an anti-masker. I was just like, what about the masks, mate? Fucking brutal. I never really wore them anyway. And he was like, you know, fucking cunts, I'll never wear them.
Right.
And I was like, fucking in Asda can I get a loaf of bread without wearing a mask? All that shit. So,
Was he pure on board?
aye, instantly on board.
Was he pure yes?
The
Yes,
flood-
big man.
The floodgates get opened.
Did they? I've been caught out almost. I tried to like kid on I knew something about something, and it turned out that the guy was like a pure expert.
What happened? Sorry, man, I'm getting pure tickled off this bite. In
That's
case
alright,
people think I'm like picking my nose, I'm sorry. When you go,
mate.
mate.
It's got chlamydia on it, mate. It's just jumped onto your face. What was it we were talking about? And I knew something. See that way, like I knew something about the subject, and I tried to pass it off using that tiny wee bit of knowledge that I'd heard on a podcast or read in a book. I tried to pass it off as like, oh, I know what I'm talking about.
Aye.
And the guy was like, oh, I wrote my thing, mate, my PhD on, and I was pure, oh no. I just admitted it. I just went, mate, I don't really know about it. And the guy was like, oh, that's all right. And then just like told me about it.
All right.
So like educated me, but no, I've got a tendency to talk shit to strangers as well, mate. Like, but I like that game. I'm going to kid on I'm a racist.
Mate, I feel like it was near that far away slagging. If the Uber ride was longer, I feel like immigrants were going to get slagged. And I was
Aye.
like, what the fuck have I done? I feel like I've started a forest fire or something. I'm
Aye.
just so glad I got out the Uber in time.
See, when I used to do sales, I used to kid on that I supported whatever football. Well, obviously I didn't kid on I was a Celtic supporter, but see if somebody came in looking for an iPhone or whatever, and they had like fucking 1690 on their fucking phone, or they just looked like a fucking Rangers supporter, like just said something about Rangers, I would pretend to be lad, be like, oh mate, aye, and just hope that it's not really the same as it, like Paul, like a pure Catholic name. But I would kid on that I was a Rangers supporter just because I knew I'd get sales with that.
Taking a page out Johnny Adair's book, I say.
Who's that?
The former
The Mad Dog?
Mad
Johnny
Dog,
Adair? How am I taking a page out of that?
loyalist leader.
Mm-hmm.
He used to go into Celtic pubs with Celtic taps on to get information.
Did he?
Yep. I seen that in an interview once. He was
Right.
like, I don't give a fuck about football and all that stuff. I'm not
Right, but
in it for
he
football.
would use it.
He would use
I
it.
think you could. I think you should use it. See if people... Honestly, mate, I have met some absolute fucking walloper Celtic fans. See if
Aye.
you judge people based on the fucking football team that they support.
Yeah.
That's how I'm saying, like, you kind of deserve to be manipulated and taken advantage of. If you're like, he's a good guy, he supports Celtic, and you're like, did Jimmy Savile have a fucking Celtic scarf on at one point
Aye.
in time? For fuck's sake, guys,
Give
come
me
on.
keys to my house. He supports the hoops. Which kind of, I agree with you because I tweeted a couple of days ago. Shows you how stupid some people are, man. I tweeted Celtic players should give Rangers players a guard of honour for stopping the treble.
I seen it.
and it went a bit viral.
Oh, did it?
Aye.
Did you delete it?
Nope.
No, have you kept it up? What the comments like? Mate?
See the
Fuck me.
amount of stupid fucking Celtic fans that were like, "Where's your guard of honour for the quadruple?" A lot of people understood that it was a joke. I can't believe that people never got it.
Aye, people didn't twig.
I mean, a lot of Rangers fans were like, "Oh, that's shite Potter." Fair enough. But so many Celtic fans were like, No, don't give them a guard of honour. Shut the fuck
Mate,
up.
there's a guy out there that does so much shit talking that he now needs to like pre-warn for a tweet. He always puts up, for the avoidance of doubt, my next tweet is a bit, and then he'll tweet because he's just constantly getting Celtic because he's a Celtic fan, he's a big Celtic fan.
Is it Kev something?
Aye, he's constantly getting Celtic fans biting, and he's like, "Stop fucking biting! I'm trying to get the other side." Like, so he puts up this like, for the avoidance of doubt. See if you go on his Twitter feed, man, there's just about 40 of them for the avoidance of doubt. Like my next tweet's a bit. I might just start doing that.
Mate, Twitter bewilders me at times.
Did you see my tweet?
No.
I was like something like how to live your life and be a boss. I Fred, and then was like, don't. That came off the back of, I had got up that morning, and usually after like my morning routine, I will spend a bit of time just fucking about on social media, just checking the news, checking tats, whatever, just flicking through fucking social media like as we do. And it was like 5 or 6 on the bounce. I just, that's like, here's how to live your life, a thread. And you're like, mate, you can't tell me how to live my fucking life. You're in fucking LA. You're fucking ball bag. Like, go away, leave me alone. But it is all this just pure how to get on the property ladder, a thread, and then you find out that their Monda gave them their deposit, and you're like, cunts don't have that, mate. Like, people get up in the morning and go to work literally sometimes wondering how they're going to fucking feed their wains, and you're talking about like, stop spending money on Starbucks.
Yeah.
That's how you get in the property ladder, man. Have a cold shower every day. We're back with this, mate.
I responded to your tweet.
So you did? Aye, so you did, mate.
Take advantage of mentally ill people by telling them that they need to drink more water for £39 a session.
Aye, mate.
There's quite a lot of these Scottish cunts cutting about now, aren't there? Like these property Scottish people. I see that on my newsfeed all the time.
Like what?
I don't know. It's like, hello, my name's Paul McGinty. Welcome to the Property Tycoon. I'll tell you how I can get you on the property ladder. Just meet me at the Hydro. £45 a ticket.
Aye, mate. I had a guy in here, and I don't think he listens to this, but see if he does, you know, I'm just building your self-awareness, pal. And he was talking about like how he can get your business to 4 and 5 and 6 figures. He's not doing that for himself, and you're like, can you really do that? It's like, what we call, I don't know, what the fuck we gotta call this, like fake ball bag entrepreneurs. Like, I'm a successful entrepreneur that's going to teach you how to sort your life, and then you're like, oh, how much are you worth, mate? What's your nothing. Yeah. No. I still live with my mum and my dad, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like you're saying, it's taking advantage of people. It's like people just want to be able to live, you know, financial freedom or whatever. I can give you financial freedom, and it's like, but you're charging people. How you are making yourself financially free is by charging people, and then you're going to tell them how to become financially free. Like, when we're going to end up in a world where a quarter of the world is a PT, the next quarter is a business entrepreneur that's telling you how to run your business. The next quarter, like, where does it end? Like, there's only so many millionaires that can exist. Like, we can't all be a millionaire. So where does the bottleneck happen? Like, I actually think it's already happened. Like now we're seeing PTs that are like, I'm going to teach you how to be a PT. And then they've got a mentor that's like, I'll teach you how to teach them how to be a PT.
Yeah.
And then they've got, do you know what that's called? A pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
We're all involved in this big, huge, massive social media pyramid scheme. And the ones that actually make money are Zuckerberg and these pals. They don't give a fuck about what cunts are selling on their platforms. They're just like, you're fucking paying me, man.
Just give me more money.
Mm-hmm. They're the real ones that are profiting, mate.
As soon as you said pyramid schemes there, it made me remember Just Plus. Is that still cutting a bit?
Don't know, mate.
Remember that?
I don't remember Just Plus, but I remember Herbalife. And I think it's a similar sort
exact
of thing.
same thing,
right?
mate.
Diarrhea shakes.
Aye. I remember, it's mad how you can get blinded by that stuff, because my pals were buying it. And back then I was like, this is a sham. You get your nutrition for food and exercise. And they were getting properly annoyed with me. And I was like, but it's powdered shite. My cousin fucking done it and he lost about 7 stone. And I swear to God, he looked like he had AIDS or something, like something fucking wild. And everybody was like, is he dying, man? But
no, he's on a Just Plus. He's on the apple diet.
Aye.
Eat an apple a day. Do you think that's how they come up with that, right? Let's think about that. Is that like a pure... This has just came to me. But the apple diet, do you think that's came from like the pure nursery rhyme? Like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So they're like, that's all we need. Do you know all we need? Cold water therapy and an apple, mate.
Aye. Well, that's why the term an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Because there's so much fibre in it. It's so good for you. So good for your gut.
Aye, but I'm thinking, is that how these idiots come up with the apple diet? Where they were only going to eat apples?
Oh, right, okay.
Like they thought, like, we should just overdose on apples. That's what we should do. Neglecting the fact that you need calcium and protein and a whole fucking petri dish of like nutritional macronutrients.
Aye.
We're like, nah, man, I'll just take the fibre and the sugar and just shit my life away.
When's the last time you had an apple?
Darren ASMR. Maybe about a week ago.
Honestly?
Had a wee bag. I like the wee fruit bags.
What was that? I totally missed what you said there, Darren AMSR.
ASMR.
What's that?
Like the mad.
Oh, the sound shit.
Aye.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry.
Because you were taking a drink.
Is that picking that
I
up?
can pure hear. Oh, I can still hear it. I still heard it.
Sorry.
But no, I had an apple. I eat the wee bags, see like the wee fruit bags, apple and grape, pineapple, fingers and stuff like that. I eat that.
Oh, aye. Pineapple fingers.
I'm very middle class.
I've not had an apple in about over a year, as you can tell. I used to do all that stuff all the time before life got me.
You're going to be sitting in a pub. One, like when you're older, the young team are going to come in, you're going to go, stay on the apples.
I remember I used to have a podcast.
I used to have a podcast, guys. Guys, where he's going? Don't run away from me. When do we think we developed that Glasgow accent? See, like that pure, tell you what, right? I played for Celtic when I was younger, right?
Oh, God. Every cunt's like that, isn't it?
I played with Larson.
I actually knew Larson when he stayed here. Do you know he wasn't Swedish? That was just a fucking thing. That was just a thing he done. Cunts actually say shit like that, but...
That's just a thing he done. He wasn't actually Swedish.
I think I've said this on the podcast before. I know.
That's just a thing he done. He wasn't Swedish. That's just
no, he's fucked in the head, man.
Mate, there was one time I was walking by Ladbrokes or William Hill's, whatever one is it next to where Destiny used to be. So when you go down Sucky Hill Street, you turn. It's William Hill's, isn't it? Or is it Ladbrokes? Do you usually get to be Chinese guys chain smoking outside it because there's like the Chinese supermarket and that across the road?
Ladbrokes.
I think it is a Ladbrokes. I walked by there with my missus one day and there was an old guy stoning and you can picture him. He had fucking faded jeans that had like stains on them and his fingers were yellow and he was smoking a roll up and he went, big man. I turned around and went, see, when I was young, we were all fucking mental. And that was it. I just went, no bother, mate, and just walked away. And see, forever now, me and my missus just randomly just go, we were all fucking mental.
He'll probably be dead now.
Probably, mate. I'll tell you another story about like a random fucking JK. See, when I worked, this is terrible, mate. This was fucking terrible. See, when I worked in Virgin Media, this guy came in, right? And you know, and he was immaculately dressed. Do you know, like the old sort of Glasgow Neds that are like, they wear suits? They're the scary ones, mate. They're the real scary ones. But he was a bit wide-eyed and he was absolutely stinking a bevy. But he was like sitting down with one of the guys that I worked with, Stefan. And if Stefan, he won't be fucking listening to this, but if he's listening to this, he'll remember this, mate. It was mental. And he was talking about how he'd fought in the war, like Korea or something, like something there, like in Asia, and a fucking Chinese family walked in, and he stood up and went, "I'd have just done this." Put his hand in his pocket and pretended to take a gun out. Walked up to the guy and put his hand in his head and went, "Boom, you're fucking dead."
Wow.
We were like, "What the fuck just happened there, man?" And he was like, "I used to wipe they cunts out when I was in the army."
What age was he?
Maybe about, maybe at the time, I'm guessing, mate, maybe in his 60s or his 70s.
Holy fuck.
Like an old man, like a well-dressed old man, well-presented, but was steaming. See that, like, steaming way where they're totally coherent, they can speak properly, straight, can walk in a straight line, but you're like, what's wrong with him? And you're like, oh fuck, he's steaming.
Aye.
It was like that, but he fucking seen the Asian guy walk into the shop, went, "Oh, do you know what we used to do with them?" Pretended to take a fucking gun out, had pistol fingers, went up to the back of the guy's head and like pretended to fucking shoot him, and then turned and went, "I used to wipe they cunts out when I was in the army." We were like, mad. Everybody in the shop's jaw just fucking hit the floor, man. Like,
that's horrifying.
Holy fucking shit.
Imagine being that guy.
Mate, he didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. He was like, he couldn't speak a word English. He was just looking about like, what's going on? Like, you know, like that kind of like, what just happened there?
Aye.
But we were like, that can't just fucking threaten your life, mate. Like,
Aye.
he was having fucking flashbacks to the war there, man.
He's in for the Sopranos box set and he doesn't even realise a cunt wants to fucking pop him. Was it Larson? Kidding on, he was
Swedish. He's not Swedish. I know him.
That reminded, I'm not saying my granddad's racist, right? But my granddad was a prisoner of war. And
what war?
It would have been the first one, I'm sure.
First what?
World War.
No.
Second World War.
Aye, it would have been World War II,
Aye.
mate. Aye, if it was your grandpa.
So he was a prisoner of war in Italy, I think.
Right. Aye, he'd have been out fighting against the fascists in Italy. So
Yeah.
aye, it would have been World War II, aye.
I don't know how long he was there for, but I knew it was more than a year anyway.
Right, fuck me, man.
So he's kept in a hut, you know, starved, fucking leathered every single day.
Oof.
And supposedly my dad was like, he could never walk past a chippy without fucking getting it. "Yeah, bastards! Yeah, bunch of bastards! Don't buy any fucking chippies for them." Because it was like Italian
Aye,
families.
Italian chip shops. Aye, it was the Italians that started all like, the chip shops in Glasgow and that,
but,
right? Fuck's sake.
You know, it was any time he was drunk, because I think he had like post-traumatic stress.
Right.
Obviously. Shell shock.
God knows what happened to your grandpa in the fucking prisoner of war camps in Italy, mate.
Aye.
Fuck me, man.
Also picked up some crazy eating habits as well. Like my dad said he used to see when you, I don't know what the term is, but see when you get fucking, you know, starved essentially. He used to put something mental in his tea, like fucking 9 sugars and like cream.
Aye, for the malnutrition.
Aye,
they've just been pure stocking up in calories.
So mental.
It's like the guys that you see in like the movies and they're pure protecting their food, and it's like because they're used to being, they've spent 20 years in prison, fucking cunts try to steal their fucking food off them.
Aye,
that will be PTSD, mate.
Aye,
it's crazy, man. Walking by chippies, "Yeah, dirty bastards." Imagine nowadays, "Yeah, bastards." Some mad Indian guy standing behind the counter of a chippy like that. What the fuck is going on here?
"Yeah, Italian bastard. That cunt looks like Larson, man. Get out."
Oh, fuck.
I think I've said that on the podcast before. I knew a Rangers fan that was like, that was a goalkeeper. I have said this on the podcast. He was an amazing goalkeeper, right? And he's like, "Aye, Tommy Burns was up at the house, wanted to sign me for Celtic, and I just done that. Get out my house, you Fenian bastard. We are the people." Like, that didn't happen, mate.
Where did they end up?
He never signed for anybody.
Well, if that did happen, then you're bragging about shooting yourself right in the fucking foot, you muppet.
Aye. So I think we've done an hour, haven't we?
Aye, mate, done it. Aye, mate.
Right, we've done an hour. That is episode 25. Thank you very much for everybody joining in. That was a good laugh, wasn't it?
Aye, mate, I enjoyed that a lot, mate.
Hopefully I wasn't stuttering too much when I was talking about stand-up. I feel like, you know.
I didn't notice, mate, so.
Okay. All the bitter comedians listening, "I'm going to kill that cunt." My dad, "He is mentally ill."
Alan Ardew, "I'm never sponsoring that prick's podcast ever again."
Which reminds me, I want to thank Alan Argue & Co. for being the sponsor of the podcast. When you're watching the podcast, their information will pop up on the screen and you can go in and give them a call. So get in touch and get in about the goodness. I'm announcing my tour on Friday. If you listen to the podcast, can you please rate it for us, because it's helping us out and we want to continue doing it. Alan is kind enough to cover expenses for the studio, so if you'd like to give me some money, you can donate a coffee, and that's all I've got to say. Hendrik Larsson was actually Russian. Hendrik Larsson was an Italian spy. Yeah, Hendrik Larsson kept my granda a prisoner of war in the war. I'm fucking telling you, mate. Join us next week for episode 26. Hendrik Larsson was a Nazi.